The following is a fan-based discussion. All properties discussed are property of Toei Inc., Bandai, Hasbro, and Subaraya Productions. Hi.
God damn it. Part 3 of Gaim, huh?
Yep.
But since Jacob wasn't here for our 01 first impressions, Jacob is also doing his at the beginning of this video.
Yes.
But this is also the video for the Zangetsu and Duke movies. So stick around to the end for that. But to start off with, we're going to go ahead and get Jacob's thoughts about the first... You watched the first 4?
I watched the first 4.
Okay.
I was going to watch the 5th one, but I forgot.
But yes, the first 4 episodes of 01.
For the first time, I think ever, I really took notes. I took a lot of notes.
You're like me on the Kyoto usual.
And starting with this, the lead character is loud and annoying.
He got better. Over the first couple episodes, he definitely got better. I hate him. I didn't really hate him.
That first, extreme close-up of his face when he's riding on the bike.
Yep.
I was like, we are not off to a great start here, folks.
I don't blame you.
Climb in. We're off to the races.
I do not blame you.
I did, however, like that bit of editing where it's the old man with the robot, and it's like, we are the future, man and machines. This person is dead now. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
It was a funny little edit. Got me to laugh. I like this world.
The world building is
building is good. AI is not something that Kamen Rider has explored much, I don't think. Not to this scale.
No, almost every other time they've done something a man versus machine type of thing, it's always been the main Kamen Rider has been turned into a cyborg.
Yeah. But the main Kamen Rider is a cyborg.
Yeah.
From the beginning. But the idea that it's like Detroit come human by way of Kamen Rider, where we have this world of man and androids coexisting together, and instead of a little LED light, they have a stylish pair of headphones.
Yeah,
and I like that. I do. I hope they don't ruin it.
I feel like they're not going to ruin it in the specific way of.
I hope they don't. Shit. Let me put it to you this way. I hope they don't fall back on robot racism. The way Detroit Become Human did.
No, I don't.
Hopefully it's more like Matrix and less Detroit Become Human.
I'll see.
I didn't hate Detroit Become Human, but there are things about it I did not like.
I'll see more about that once we're gonna get through your first 4.
Okay. The vice president looks like a doofus. I think he's a dumb-looking character.
He is an asshole.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that when it ends with actually really coming to some of the things about the company, especially the things that they try to find out about Daybreak Town later on, he's very reluctant to say anything. And it's more because he's scared. Yeah,
true. But, yeah, he's just not doing anything for me as of yet. And I liked that we saw the belt get assembled.
Yeah.
That was a really nice touch, I thought. It's very rare that we actually see the belt get created. Or some aspect of the Kamen Rider, truly at its moment of creation. And I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool, seeing it get created.
3D printed.
I think the backstory is interesting.
Yeah.
With him being I don't like the comedian aspect of his character, but
no one does.
But the idea that he comes from another background and he's thrust into this role of leading a company, and and it's not something he wants to do. It's the refusal of the call of the hero's journey, where he wants to help people. He wants them to laugh. That's why I really like his motivation for becoming Kamen Rider in this.
Yeah.
I really admire that. It's I want to see other people be happy. I want to help other people make their dreams come true and see them realized. But in order to do that, I have to be the head of the company.
Yeah.
And that's not something I want to do, but I'm willing to do it if it means I can be Kamen Rider and help people that way.
What did you think about how they made the monsters?
I actually really like it.
Yeah.
I like how the way the monsters are created are cool. Not a huge fan of the effects, and I don't like the monster suits. They're too top heavy.
They are pretty top heavy.
They're too top heavy, and they feel a little unfinished.
I don't think they feel so much unfinished. It's just like that's not the thing that we should be focusing on. Although I do love how in the first episode we end up seeing, the big comedian.
Yeah.
The eyes on the mantis are his arms
on
the sides of his head when he's flexing.
Yeah.
So it's just like there are little things
I didn't notice that.
They keep from their actual robot form before they 3D print the rest of the outfit around them.
Interesting.
I love just how they also end up infecting the other robots around them.
But the way the monsters are created, I think it's pretty cool. The way it's almost, I mean, going back again to Detroit Become Human, it's that like when Marcus puts his hand on someone, on an android, and they become deviant now.
Yeah,
it's kind of like that, except evil.
It's true.
It is. Really good dynamic camera work in the action scenes. The action in this is like the best it's been in a long time, I think, from what I can remember. There's a lot of use of slow-mo, and they don't limit it to the first episode.
No.
That's something I really noticed, is throughout the remaining 3 episodes that I watched, you get these really good dynamic camera angles, use of slow motion, and it feels more cinematic.
Mm-hmm.
However, when they go back to the more traditional flat shooting, it can be a little jarring.
It can be because it's just so different from everything.
It's so different than what they show. Best rider kick in years.
I do love that.
Best rider kick in years. It's really so simple, but it feels so special. They made finishers feel special again.
Yeah.
I like the freeze frame. I like the text on the screen. I like the flashing characters.
Because
I like it. It's a fresh way to do a finisher.
The last time that we really got something especially with the characters coming up on the screen, was Hibiki. And I missed that. That was one of my favorite things they did. So
it just feels like such a. It feels like fighting. It feels like a fighting game.
Yeah.
You land that ultra combo in Marvel vs. Capcom, and you get that freeze frame super combo finish. And in this one, we get the belt talking. And honestly, I really like the henshin. I'm not gonna lie. I have ranted on this channel for so long about how henshins, they're messy, they're overcomplicated, they take too long. The belt has to sing 20 billion verses before it can actually transform, especially the first time around. There's just the music. You get the belt talking when he actually gets the form. I love the animal coming down. We'll get to this later, but I love the punching the bullet.
Yeah.
I love that. And
do you like
I'm not joking, not even with the slightest bit of irony, I love Jump to the Sky turns into a rider kick.
And the other ones too?
Yeah, I do. We've never had anything like it before, and the fact that it's spoken and the voice is robotic and it's so quick and so crisp. We get that little bit with the rising hopper, but then Jump to a Sky turns to a rider kick. We're done. Let's go punch something. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Really hope that's how it is going forward.
I hope so, because in the following episodes, it worked.
Yeah.
It still worked. And there was I think it was in the second episode they cut it out of one of the they cut it out of one of the scenes, and we jumped right into the fight scene.
I think they cut it out because they just showed it the first episodes. They were just like, there's no point in doing this again until we get another form.
I love the rising hopper suit.
It is a very good
I like it a lot.
It's a very good
It's the greenest freaking shade of yellow I've ever seen.
It's very neon.
But it is the right... I love how it's all black. I love black as the base color, getting back to the more O's. O's did that too. That's one of my favorite suits. So I love black as a base color. It goes really well with the super bright of the neon. I like how the face looks. There's just enough, because it's so bright, they put just enough of it on there to offset the black.
Yeah, they didn't have to overdo it.
It's great.
It's more of a padding type of thing.
I love the tutorial scene.
Very Iron Man.
So, it's very Iron Man, but it's also good. More than that, I thought it was good because so many times the Guile Henshin, he's like, oh, what am I doing? But then like 2 seconds later, he's a great fighter.
Yeah.
And he knows exactly what he's doing.
AJ actually had that problem in O's. Remember the first time he transformed?
Yeah, I do. I think it was Ultraman X the first time he transformed.
Well, that's because it was X.
I know, but still. The fact that like he wasn't used to it at all. But in this one, where they're able to essentially download his brain into a computer so he's able to think, faster than the speed of light. He's able to download how to fight into his brain. It's like the Matrix's I Know Kung Fu scene.
I think the best thing about that is it sets up a precedent for how he knows every other form and how it works.
Yeah.
That's great.
You have an in-universe explanation for how he's able to learn so quickly, and it works. Now, it's really good.
What do you think about the villain that we got with Netsubo Jinrai? We only really got to see one.
Oh, boy. When he had the gun on the minion's head and was like laughing hysterically, I thought that was so bad.
I actually think
I don't think he's a very good actor. I
actually think it was really well done because I think he's supposed to feel that way.
Do you think what they're going for is he's a robot and he's not quite sure how to act human, so he was like doing an impression of that, do you think?
From what they revealed in episode 5, yes.
Okay. But from what I've seen with them, not the biggest fan so far. I'm not writing them off.
Yeah.
I'll give them a shot. I'll see where they go, because if what you say is true, then we'll see what happens.
And
I like we're getting into episode 2 now. I like the callback to the laws of robotics. Appreciate a classic sci-fi reference.
Yeah.
Getting back to what I said, the continued use of slow-mo, very surprising. They usually don't use effects like that often, and especially past the first episode. They'll usually just blow their wad in the first episode, and that'll be the nicest looking one, and then after that, it just kind of looks bad and cheap. Not in this case. The extreme close-ups, they're a little overused. Little too much of them. He's supposed to be a comedian.
It's a Japanese thing.
Okay. That's a cultural difference then. I was like, what is the joke? What is the joke here?
Well, one, he's bad at it. But
I know he's bad at it.
If you watch a lot of, just like Japanese like game shows and stuff like that, it is a lot.
There's a lot of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because, I don't. So that's probably why it goes over my head.
Actually, the one thing you didn't talk about in episode 1 was Ames, because we did get introduced to the two of them right off the bat. With Fua and...
Right. I was going to get to them. Okay. The android he bandages, Senpai noticed me.
It is.
It was it was a Senpai noticed me moment, and it made me giggle. I thought it was funny. Ames is totally freaking useless. This is a trope that I have so much problems with, and I really, if the trope doesn't have a name, I'm giving it one now. It's the ineffective organization. I feel like so many Toku shows, Kamen Rider and Ultraman are especially guilty of this. There is this organization that is designed solely for the purpose of dealing with a very specific threat.
Mm-hmm.
In Ultraman, it's the kaiju. In this, it's the androids. In
Kabuto, it was the worms.
There's another example, and they are completely useless against it. You have an organization in this universe that are designed to deal with these kind of threats. That's what they're created for, and they're never, ever powerful enough to stop any of them.
I would actually disagree.
It just feels such like a complete waste of time. It really, really bothers me.
I would disagree here in this case, and the reason why is because of the fact that Metsubo Jinrai didn't really come out and start really doing this until now. They're used to dealing with like regular ones going haywire.
I understand, but even going against the regular ones, it seemed like they were struggling so much.
No, I mean these are like powered up, like they're the ones that if just a regular one that was previously operating normally and didn't shed their skin or anything, I feel like they're more used to going up against that. This time, it's an external source acting on infecting these things and making them more powerful. So they just don't have the standard weaponry to make it work yet.
I understand where you're coming from, and that does make sense, but I've seen this so many times, and it just bothers me so much when I see things like this. That's just a big problem I have.
On the plus side, though, it's not so much the organization, because we do have 2 other writers that are coming in, especially in this episode.
My next note, robot racism. Ugh. Because Fua doesn't like robots.
To be fair, he has a reason.
I know he has a reason, and at least they gave him a reason.
A legitimate.
They gave him a legitimate reason, which I'm okay with, but I was just wary. Because I wrote that note before that scene happened.
Oh.
Just don't ruin it. Okay? Just don't ruin it. You've got a good thing going with your world, don't ruin it. The contrasting transformation sequence. Where, I like that scene. Not a fan of the Vulcan suit. Looks unfinished.
I'm okay.
Like, half of it looks like it's not there.
Because half of it is white. I feel like if they would have done a better job of doing it with Valkyrie and making hers the opposing side, it would have made a little more sense.
That would have made more sense, but they didn't. But again, the contrasting transformation sequence where you have Aruto who sees the potential for AI and the good that they bring to the world and how loved they are by the people, and then you have Fua who's like, I only see these things as a threat because of what happened to me in Daybreak Town. And
then you have Valkyrie who sees them merely as tools.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Genrai sees them as the future of humanity.
But that doesn't come out until episode 3, yeah. My next note, floppy tusks, ugh. Because that one monster had the big tusks.
Oh, yeah.
And they were flopping around, and it just made me shake my head. Welp, another dirt bike.
Yeah, now that.
I liked the press conference moment. I liked that a lot. Then they ruined it.
They did ruin it.
And then they ruined it.
There was no hope.
They ruined it. Naruto ruined it with his stupid comedian antics, and then Fua made a poop face.
What do you think?
Which he does a lot.
Vulcan's first fight.
It was good.
I love
it was good.
The Shadow Wolves that dragged that what is it? The Magia? Yeah. That dragged him like all through those crates, and then he sees 01 on the other side.
I loved that. That was a great button to put on it with him flying through and then him seeing him and going, "You."
And the 01's like, "Bye."
He's like, he does that too. He's just like, bye, jumps away. Episode 3, I want sushi.
Same.
That was my first note, is I want sushi. Theme song? This is the first time we get it. Wasn't a fan.
I like it, but obviously I XA. So
I know you love that XA one. My third note, I really want sushi. It looks so delicious. This is when I really noticed that I was really not a fan of the monster suits. Again, they just feel too top heavy and they feel a little too under designed. Vulcan shooting the tentacles off, that was a funny moment. The plot of the episode, not bad.
Yeah.
Wasn't a bad plot. The sushi master whose health is failing him and he didn't leave. He's like, no, my restaurant's gonna die with me, but Aruto's company has this android that is specifically designed for
sushi,
for chef work and whatnot, for cooking, and this one is particularly designed for sushi. It's like, no, the sushi's terrible. It doesn't have a heart. Robots don't have a heart. And the idea of like, no, they do. It's like a Tin Man story.
And this is when Valkyrie comes in and just be like, yep, they're tools. That's about
it. Let's see, my next note. I really, really want sushi. Needless to say, I was hungry. I thought the morality for this episode was a little on the nose.
How so?
Maybe I should have wrote more than that, because now I'm struggling to remember.
Because the thing that ends up happening after the monster is destroyed.
Oh, right, like, because the monster getting destroyed, and then they are tools, they can have hearts, we can fix him, no we can't, they don't. I felt like it was their dialogue was explaining things a little too much.
I think the thing that made...
I feel like there was a little too much tell and not enough show.
I think the thing that made this a little bit more was the fact that at the end of the episode, it's a new version of the same robot.
Yeah.
And they end up having that symbol, which apparently in Japan is like the symbol for a student driver.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's why they have that floating like green.
Because he's an apprentice.
Yeah.
Because he's an apprentice sushi chef.
Because one of the policemen from the last episode also had that. The new one.
Mm-hmm. There's this one moment in Cheetah's fight scene that I absolutely loved. It's where she had that cover that she pushed forward to get close to the monsters and kill them. That was such a great little moment.
It was something that I'm just like, I've never seen this in Rider before. What? And just seeing her running behind it and shooting them around.
It's that kind of dynamic action that I really like in the show.
I freaked out.
But I feel like they really make creative use of space and environment.
Yeah. I freaked out
see much.
a little bit on that scene. I had to watch it again because I was just blown. It was great.
The shark suit. I hate it.
Why?
It's a color issue. The colors should have been uniform. If the colors were uniform, if it was all blue instead of blotches instead of like some of the neon staying there and then the blue.
Well, the thing with this...
Aesthetically, I found this suit to be a nightmare.
The thing with this, and I think I appreciate it more because it actually leaves the suit still just as basic, is the fact that the other pieces break off and move.
I'm okay with that, but I wish they had changed color too.
The color, like, I'm not the biggest fan of the shirt. I feel like it should have been more...
The colors is what really threw me off, and
should have been...
the 01 base suit, the Rising Hopper suit, is so slick and so clean. Adding the extra pieces on it just makes it just loses that.
I'm fine with it.
For me, it loses that sleekness. It's like sprinkling jelly beans onto a wedding cake.
Because weirdly enough, I think this is the least they add to the overall suit with Shark. But you're right. They definitely could have used a different shade of blue.
Yeah. My final note for the episode, men playing chess. Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah, we don't know who that is, and I haven't really spoken about who I think.
Oh, I'm sure it'll be disappointing when they reveal it.
He knows.
I hope it's good. I should say. The I will not hide anything moment. Really good.
Yeah.
I really like that scene. Falcon suit, same problem as the shark. I like the animals in the Henshin sequence. I said this before, I'll say it again. This is like when I really started to notice that I liked it. That's why I wrote it down there. This is also when I really noticed I love the Henshin sequence.
Yeah.
The gorilla suit.
I know.
Once again, too top heavy.
It's the arms. I think it's the arm because of the fact that his hands
it's all up here.
Yeah,
that's my problem. Is everything is up here and down here it's just nothing. I love the scene with the dad.
I feel like
I really like the plot of this episode.
There was a lot in this episode I feel like it started out very heavy-handed. Like, yeah, he was there to observe the tour guide, which is great, by the way. But it's like the fact that the kid was also on the bus,
and the kid is on the bus, and then the kid's just like blatantly being like, "This guy's dad did it, man, your dad committed genocide."
It's funny because it's true,
but then we find out that it wasn't.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, he did what he could to save everyone. And I love that moment. I love that moment, that scene at the end where they show his picture on the TV, and it's like, we have footage here that shows that the man who we previously thought was responsible actually kind of saved everybody.
We have this footage from Hedon.
Yeah.
Technology.
And because Aruto is the one who gets out in front of the press conference and be like, this is what caused the incident.
We're not going to hide.
My company is not going to hide anything. We're gonna be honest here, which I can't help but wonder if his public opinion went up after that.
I can't, because just the way this show is setting itself up, it's going to bite him, and it's going to bite him hard.
It very well could.
The shark is going to be the one to bite him.
Wasn't a fan of the Falcon suit either. It had the same problems. Edgelord villains better get better.
I think it's...
I really noticed at this point I'm not a fan of these two. They better get better.
It's way too early to really say anything about it because their story really hasn't started.
That's why I said better get better.
And the fact that they have two others that'll be coming because in the Metsubo Genrai logo there are two other spaces that no one's in yet.
Yeah. Aruto seems to ruin his own show with his stupid comedian antics.
I can't wait till they
and Fua's poop face strikes again.
They're gonna have that die and it's gonna be glorious.
I have a lot of optimism for this show going forward.
I do too.
I really like the new things it does. There's some things about it that I really don't like. But on the whole, this was a really strong couple of first episodes. 4 episodes, because I found myself wanting to see what would happen next.
The story that they're setting
up... And I felt like I wasn't just watching this because I had to talk about it. I felt like I was watching it because I wanted to know what happened.
It's like the story that they're setting up with Daybreak Town and exactly who the villains are and the different ideologies between, Fua and Valkyrie and Aruto and Metsubo Genrai is just... It's very refreshing to see just a lot of different things just combating against each other. Especially because we actually got some other things set up, like when they broke down who owned what part of Daybreak Town. Yeah. There was that other company that was there that also was just like as big as Hedon. We hadn't really heard anything about, but I'm seeing here like eventually they're going to come in. And I'm excited about that. So I'm really excited to see where it goes. I've already seen episode 5. By this point, episode 6 might be sub because overtime is on that right now.
They usually are. They crank them out. That's what they call overtime.
Well, I mean, like, they'll just do it. It'll be out first.
Oh.
Like, first thing, next thing in the morning, I wake up.
I feel like it usually is. I feel like it usually is with them.
No, next day.
Okay.
Usually it's just like, hey, we're going to go ahead and put out Ryu Soldier this afternoon. But nope, 01 is here. Do it.
Must be working overtime.
All right, now we can talk about actual Gaim.
And now, back to the reason you all came here, maybe.
So we have Duke and Zangetsu. What do you think? I'm gonna let you do this while I get this up because
I think the Zangetsu one is okay.
Okay.
I think it was... Once again, I don't think it was... Like the Zack one, I don't think it was very good. But if you're looking for a companion piece to get more character... If you're looking for good supplemental material to get more out of a certain character who maybe didn't get a lot of development in the show, this is you could do far worse.
Yeah,
this is not a terrible way to do it.
Especially because it's Takatora, so there's going to be something good coming.
I liked that we got more backstory with him.
Yeah.
Also, my first note for this was, is that the guy from W?
I love how that's your place.
What was it?
Oh wait, which guy from W?
Their dad. Isn't that Ryubei Sonozaki?
I think it is.
Amagi Kurashima, played by Minori.
Yep, that's him.
It was him. I knew it was him. Because the instant he showed up, it was like, oh hey, is that the guy? Is that the guy from Museum?
Here to kill us.
Yes.
Again.
But no, he plays. He's Takatora's dad. Which honestly, my first takeaway from this was it was good to see this actor again.
Yeah,
because I like him. I really liked him in W.
He was pretty damn good.
So it was nice to see him again. I like that Takatora is the main character. His dynamic with the servant coming back was nice. My biggest problem with this movie
was her.
No, the fact that they set it up like a mystery when there is no mystery.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point.
Where it's who could this mysterious Kamen Rider be that's killing these things and attacking all these people? Who's the only new character that shows up in this movie? It's her. Gee, I wonder who it could be.
Man, isn't it great as I look at her? Who is it? But
all things considered, her and Takatora have some good scenes together.
Yeah,
where she makes him the apple pie, and he tries it out, and it's terrible. And it's nice to see Takatora laugh.
And
it's nice to see him genuinely laugh.
Another Apple Rider.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
This suit gets
You just can't let it go, can you?
It gets more time on screen than Duke does in show. I'm not wrong.
It's like you bought too many apples and you just had to get rid of them.
And they repainted parts of his white.
Yep.
And it still doesn't look good. However, what do you think about his version of Watermelon Arms?
It's good. It's okay.
I think the strangest thing about it, I'm just not the biggest fan of that watermelon pattern.
Okay.
The rind pattern.
Yeah.
I like the fact that it gives him a random machine gun at the end of his shield.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I heard you have to block and shoot at the same time. So we gave you something so you can block and shoot at the same time.
Yeah, I got you, dog.
But I still think
it's okay.
This is a pretty okay movie.
I don't think it's a particular good one, but
it ain't the worst.
No, it's not the worst. But if you're interested, I'd still say it's worth a look.
The story itself is interesting, but you're right. It's just like there's not enough of a mystery to make this work.
There's not enough of a mystery, and the movie also seems to think a little highly of itself. Like it's very confident that you'll never figure out who it is. Mm-hmm. Gee, if only you were that clever.
Now let's talk about the Duke one.
I got nothing.
You don't even have any notes on it?
I have no notes on this one because this is another one of those things. We recorded the other one, but it's coming out later. But I said it's like the hardest stuff to review for this channel to talk about because it just leaves so little of an impact on you.
Yeah.
There's no, it's just in one ear out the other. I remember nothing.
It's weird because the guy who's like the main bad guy in this movie was like the antagonistic police officer from Agito.
Oh, was he?
Yeah. He was that guy.
Oh.
And he was in this movie. He plays like the predecessor to Ryoma who was killed, but apparently Limbo exists. And then he came back and just like, I'm going to start Havoc. And I'm just like, okay. And his outfit is once again, this is the last time we're going to have to say this, the Apple outfit.
Oh.
But slightly different. Yeah. With more red. Also, it's based on a pomegranate.
No, it's a blood orange.
And a pomegranate.
Oh, is it?
It's like the Sakura Loxy and the Blood Orange Loxy via the Genesis core.
Oh, right.
Yeah. But it's pomegranate. I like pomegranates. I just think it's just a weird choice to give him apple.
Yeah.
Again. This is the most chopped up suit in history in Kamen Rider, I swear. Speaking of which, N01, when they're in the lab and they see like the previous versions of the human gear.
Yeah.
Do you remember Delu Knight from Akiba Ranger?
Was he one of them?
They use everything down from that suit as one of the previous human gear.
Huh.
I wanted you to be aware of that.
I am aware of it now, and it brings a smile to my face.
But this suit is, once again, another chop suey.
Yeah.
And it's
chopped apples.
I'm really tired. And this is the last time we have to see this suit because we didn't get the chance, unfortunately, to get the Bravo and Zangetsu V-Cinemas. I would love to get those just to see more Bravo.
I know you would.
I love them.
That's what you do.
But yeah, this movie is just one of those. Yeah, it does set up more of his of Duke's character, Ryoma's character, and his relationship with Takatora.
Yeah.
So it's sort of worth it for that, but everything else, nah, Barbara, nah.
Yes,
but
skip this one.
Stick around for the Boom comics in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
And we'll see you then. Don't forget to join us on all the things. Do you have any final thoughts on these movies?
No.
Okay. Don't forget to join us for part 4 next week. And don't forget to join us for the Boom Comics. And we'll see you soon. Don't forget to join us on all the things. Patreon, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Patreon. Bye, everybody.
Bye.